We're continuing to monitor a breaking news situation that's going on in Plainwell right now. This after a fire rekindled at a chemical waste disposal plant overnight.
An evacuation order is right now, is in place, and there are worries about more explosions.
24 Hour News 8's Amanda Jarrett. She's been on top of this story all morning long. She joins us now live from the scene with the very latest. Amanda.
Brett and Emily, right now we're live inside of our live truck, and that's because of the storms. You just heard Matt and Terry talking about a lot of lightning here in Plainwell, and the weather is exactly what firefighters here are concerned about. Not the lightning or the hail that Matt was just talking about, but rather the rain. That's a huge concern here, and that's because they're battling water reactive chemicals inside that plant. And we told you about that early this morning. They've been working on that. They've been concerned about the water. I just talked with the mobile command center that's just out there. It's hard to see from inside of here, and they told me that so far no issues. There have been no explosions, no issues with the rain, but it is a developing situation that they're monitoring right now. And I just learned about 5 minutes ago that the EPA is headed here to Plainwell. They're expected to be here within the next hour or two, and they're going to be monitoring any plumes of smoke that may come out, especially a plume that's just to the east of the facility. Now, they are hoping this rain will help dry that out. They don't believe that there are any major concerns with that. Now, I've been telling you all morning long, the DEQ has been testing the air quality every hour. So far, the air quality has come back completely normal. Now, we did talk with the Plainwell Department of Public Safety, and they say that there is no danger. They believe the danger is over, but again, with this rain coming down, it's a major concern. So that is something they're continuing to monitor. The evacuation order is still in place. We know 3 people went to the Plainwell High School after being evacuated since 11:30 last night when that fire rekindled. Those 3 people left before 4 o'clock this morning. So there's no one at the evacuation site this morning. Again, they don't believe that there's any danger for people in this area, but that evacuation order still stands. Now, another thing to mention, businesses within a quarter mile of this area will be closed this morning because it's a developing situation. And the Plainwell Department of Public Safety will be here for the next couple of days monitoring this. They have a cleanup contractor coming at 8 o'clock this morning to try and think of a strategy of how to deal with those water reactive chemicals. But at this point, they have a strategy in place right now. They're trying to push the water away from those areas and hoping that this rain does not come through the roof and hit those products, because more explosions could happen. But at this point, no explosions have happened for several hours now, and they just continue to monitor this situation. Now, coming up in the next half hour of Daybreak, you're going to hear from the Plainwell Department of Public Safety about what they do to battle these chemicals and some of the dangers involved. Live in Plainwell, Amanda Jarrett, 24 Hour News 8.
Now to that breaking news situation we told you about at the top of the show here. Emergency crews back in Plainwell this morning after a fire rekindled there at a chemical waste disposal facility. All happened overnight. It set off several explosions and forced officials to reissue evacuations. We first brought you this as breaking news yesterday afternoon, and since then we have been staying on top of this developing story. Well, 24 Hour News 8's Amanda Jarrett joins us now live from Plainwell with what's happening right now. Amanda.
We want to bring you live inside the mobile command unit here. This is where all this information is coming from this morning. This is where we've been all morning long. I want to show you behind me what they're doing here. Several agencies working here: Allegan County, Wayland Fire, a lot of fire departments. You can see they're here monitoring the radars, listening for communication from the scene where firefighters are working to put out those hot spots and avoid the water reactive chemicals. And that's the big concern this morning. With all the rain coming down, you see Matt and Terry have been talking about it all morning long. You can see outside the trailer here all the rain. That's the big issue. They're afraid that the water will hit those water reactive spots. And here's kind of their plan right here. They were planning to push water out in this area. These are 2 volatile spots they're trying to avoid. Now, if water were to hit those chemicals, those products would burn and cause more explosions. Now, we heard about 25 to 30 explosions since 11:30 last night. We haven't heard any in several hours. I just talked with them. They say they haven't heard of any explosions or any issues since this rain started falling. That is great news. Now, we talked with the Plainwell Department of Public Safety just a little bit ago about what it's like to deal with these chemicals.
We're afraid of this fire kicking up again, and if water does get on that water reactive chemical, it causes a cloud, and we're concerned about that. We're still trying to decipher what type of chemical it is. There's multi-chemicals combined at this point, so once hazmat gets here, we should learn something.
Sergeant Bartley told me he believes the danger is over here. Now, the evacuation order still stands this morning, but we know about 3 residents were evacuated last night about 11:30. Now, those people returned hours later, before 4 a.m. this morning, so the evacuation order still stands. We know businesses within a quarter mile of this area will be closed this morning. This is something we continue to work to get more information. But again, they believe the danger is over, but this is a developing situation, especially with this water. Firefighters on scene, and that's where this mobile command unit comes into play. A lot of good information coming here this morning. morning. Now, I can tell you the DEQ has been testing the air quality every hour. So far, all of those air quality tests have come back normal. Good news, and the EPA, we learned within the last half hour, is on their way here. They also have a cleanup contractor coming here at 8 o'clock this morning. That company is out of Muskegon, and they're going to work to strategize how to deal with those water-reactive chemicals and how to put this all to rest. Again, this has been more than 12 hours in the making. We know that officials are going to be here on scene for at least a couple days monitoring the situation, but again, they believe they're working on these hot spots. They're in a good situation, and so far, no major issues this morning. We're live in Plainwell. Amanda Jarrett, 24-hour News 8.
As Amanda was talking about there, water could be turn a dangerous situation into a disastrous one here. Firefighters worried about water and those reactive chemicals on that Plainwell site, and right now we have a lot of water there. Let's go back to Matt. He's zeroing in on that Plainwell plant. Matt?
Well, it's difficult enough for firefighters just to fight a fire without Mother Nature being overly involved, and she certainly is this morning. Let's take a look at right now Storm Track Live radar. They have to deal with some heavy thunderstorms moving through the Plainwell and Otsego area, but a little bit of good news. You can see in just this 35-mile radius here, just in the past hour, over 700 strikes, cloud and ground strikes of lightning, but a higher res radar loop. You can see the broad area showers and thunderstorms moving through quickly to the east, and I'm going to zoom into the Plainwell area, and you can see the heaviest of which is now moving out of the Plainwell location. Certainly good news there. Still some light rain falling, but overall looks like the heaviest of the rain has now exited the area, and it looks like a little bit of a break before another batch, which is showing up right around Waukegan, moves in later on. Again, tracking that to the east into the Plainwell area. If it holds together, we're looking at arrival time just after 9:30 in the morning. So that's the latest here in the tracking center.
6:25 now. We're staying on top of that breaking news out of Plainwell this morning, where crews are still on the scene of a chemical waste disposal plant after a fire rekindled overnight. We've had crews on the scene since it started yesterday. Amanda Jarrett has been bringing us updates all morning on Daybreak. But to bring you the most complete coverage, we also sent 24-hour News 8's Tom Hill into the scene. He joins us now live with what will be happening there today moving forward. Tom?
Emily, that's right. At about 8 o'clock this morning, Young's Environmental out of Muskegon is going to be here on scene. They're going to start coming up with a strategy to deal with those water-reactive chemicals that Amanda has been talking about all morning. Now, we have been staying in contact with the emergency crews down here. We know, obviously, it's raining right now. There has been pretty significant rain down here, but so far we've learned that there have not been any problems with those water-reactive chemicals, but of course, that's something that could still develop here as the rain continues. Something else that authorities are looking into is the possibility of closing down that evacuation zone there at the high school where people have been going. We know about 3 people stayed the night there, but again, they have since left, so there's no one at that evacuation site at Plainwell High School, so they're going to consider shutting that down as well. I can tell you we did drive around a little bit here this morning. Some confusion because there are some roads closed here in Plainwell. Acorn Street, 2nd Division, Industrial Parkway, Lincoln Parkway, and Wakefield Street. So all those areas are shut down. Businesses within a quarter mile of where we are also closed for the time being. So if you live in this area, be aware of that. Live in Plainwell, Tom Hill, 24-hour News 8.